Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
You're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy,
fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
God, I assume Tom.
Tommy, it is great to see you again. I think the last time we talked was San Antonio Film Festival, so it's been a while. And Annabeth, I am thrilled to meet you because I keep bragging about The Last Supper as being one of my favorite all-time movies of the 90s. So, and Hiding Out, of course.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. The Last Supper is pretty prescient, wasn't it? It kind of predicts what happens right now.
Oh, absolutely. And Tommy knows I got like 8 of his movies on my shelf, so he knows I gush about him enough as it is.
Awesome.
But instead of living the past, we are going to talk today about Ride. We're going into the future, coming out on June 14th. An incredible film. I just talked to Jake yesterday, and I said it was a bit more of a Rocky movie because Rocky was a drama with boxing, not a boxing movie that had drama. And same with this one. This is a dramatic film with bull riding. So congratulations on this.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Jake said that it took 8 years to get this movie off the ground. What was it like to actually see it come to fruition when you knew how long the process was from?
Wow. So this was not a process for anybody to do. Jake in particular. I mean, he wrote this piece. It was his directorial debut, and he played the lead as well. So whenever you're taking on all those aspects, it can be daunting. And then you mix in the fact that we had 18 days to shoot it and a handful of quarters. It gets to be really challenging. I'm impressed with the people that he put together. He built and structured an incredible cast that I think did an amazing job. And one of the finest, smaller crews that I ever worked with in my entire career. So, that is something that as an actor, you have no control over. I mean, we're just one instrument in this orchestra. So all we can be responsible for is, that violin that we're trying to play. And if, the horn section or the percussion section isn't on board, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you sound. So when it all comes together, like the way that it did for this little film, you can walk away proud and happy and look forward to speaking to people like you and doing press.
I think the amount, like the 8 minutes that you have, or the 8 seconds, sorry, 8 seconds, not 8 minutes, 8 seconds on the bull, right? Like when you're riding, it's kind of a good metaphor for, we have this shot to in 18 days to do our work, and we hope and pray that it's going to be great. And I think on this one, we have something to be proud of.
I didn't realize it was just barely 2.5 weeks to make this film. It feels like you had about 3.5 months, because Jake was also saying that you were filming it in between rides. Like the next bull rider was getting ready for his time, and they're like, all right, here's your take, go. And so you had like 5 minutes for the action scenes, but then it's layered on top of it, dealing with alcoholism, parental rights, multi-generational family aspects. Like, this is not just a bull riding film. There's so much more to it. Aside from those action sequences, when you get to play these in-depth characters, does it almost feel like theater because you had such a short amount of time to bring out all the emotional aspects of them?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, Tommy and I met just like a few days before we had to just get in there and do our work. And so there was a lot of immediacy that we had to be prepared. We had to bring it. We had to fight for leveling it up. Everything was on the page, but we just really wanted to bring our A game. So yeah, like it was like theater in that sense.
And there's no break, right? So when you get involved in a production like this, you're pulling 13, 14-hour days, you're exhausted at the end, you go to sleep and you wake up and you're back at it again. So it's a fight, it's a fight it's a full sprint from beginning to end. And when you're doing independent movies, you don't have the luxury of somebody saying, oh, we're going to reshoot something, or we're going to do it again because we think we can do it better. You don't have the money, you don't have the time. So you have to really rely on each other and learn to trust the process and go for it, because that take one, take two, take three is all you get. And the chips lie where they fall from that point out.
When you saw the final product, what was your reaction? Like, did you feel that you did the rodeo circuit justice in how it was presented? Small town Texas obviously is heavily influenced because the city itself is its own character and not just a backdrop. Like, how important was that to get this right for your characters as well?
Well, for me personally, it was everything. I mean, I was raised in a rodeo background. My father rode bulls for 10 years for a living. And, we still have horses and team rope and ranch and ride. And the last thing I wanted to be involved with was, a rural modern day Western that wasn't authentic. And I just really struggled with the idea of presenting something to the cowboy community that wasn't authentic, and to the point to where I had second thoughts of being involved. But once I really started to develop my relationship with Jake and learned that people like Annabeth and Foy J. Smith were going to be involved in this piece, it really gave us a leg up as far as being as authentic and bringing those subtleties and nuances to the cowboy community and the cowboy culture. So for me, to be embraced by the Western heritage people and winning an award for best film and screening at the Cowtown Coliseum in Fort Worth, and having people that know rodeo and cowboys show up to the screening and really embraced our movie meant the world to me. That was so very important. And you don't get that a lot in particularly in Hollywood, but this movie is the antithesis to those Hollywood pictures. That's why I like doing independent movies, because they care about story, and Hollywood, in those big blockbusters, story is thrown out the window immediately, and it's based on effects and who's in it. And I think we represent we're the antithesis of that. We really are the old fashioned heart and soul storytelling, good writing and good acting. And then when you walk away from it, you can feel good about it.
Annabeth, with your character, I mean, obviously you don't get on the bull, but there's the aspects of you still have to worry about the family, and you're from
Annabeth is the bull.
Yeah.
Annabeth is the bull.
I think she's not in that particular ring, but she's in a different ring of conflict with her own, morality, like, and her job. Like, is she gonna defend and protect her son and her husband and compromise her job? I mean, I think we see what she decides in the end. She's going to stick by her family, and I think I love that aspect, because it's a little messy, and it's not necessarily just kind of the good girl that sometimes is, I've played before and I'm bored by it.
Well, this is still a gritty film. It
family
has
values over personal morals.
Right.
Yeah.
But it also has a gritty look to it. So we expected something grittier. We didn't expect, something that was overly polished. It has a bit of that 70s vibe to it, in that presentation, rather than just completely polished and shiny.
Annabeth said to me earlier when we were talking, this movie has guts, and I think she's right. There's some it's a courageous movie, because it's about broken and flawed people. Everybody has issues, whether they're dealing with addiction, own personal morals, self-worth. It all collides in this family, and at the end you're rooting for them, and I think that's what makes it special.
Having worked with Jake, what do the two of you think a sequel to this film would look like? Because this film has legs for a franchise.
Tell me, as we started this, we're just like, it's Ride 2, and I said it's going to be called Ridden.
Yes.
Or Road.
Yes.
I don't even know what the past tense of it is.
Ridden is it. Yeah. You know, it's funny because you don't see a lot of movies that have the same content that this little movie has. I mean, this little movie's got a lot, and in an 18-day period, and we've got bull riding, you know, crime heist, addiction, cancer, marriage struggles, and they all collide and form this giant mess. But somehow, by the end of the movie, it works itself out. I don't know where we would go with a sequel to this. You know, we kind of let it all hang out here in this.
But to that point, I will say I think that all of these characters are so interesting, really, really interesting, and I think a lot of these issues that we do face in this hour and a half are issues that a lot of people face in real life on a day-to-day basis, trying to pay trying to get the insurance to pay for their debilitating health crisis,
life struggles.
Yeah. And so to that end, it could probably be,
it could go on forever.
It could go
forever. We could do a 7-year series.
Oh God, no.
You could take it to series. You know, look at Yellowstone. Yellowstone's been around for a while
and doing great.
Yeah. It seems like the two of you are very proud of this picture. You know, there's no hesitation. There's a lot of love behind it. 18 days again is incredible to pull this film off. When you got to see the final product, what was your personal reactions to it? Because from my perspective, it's like, wow, you know, I really enjoyed this film. I got to talk to everybody.
You know, yeah, I'm proud as hell of it, and I think, you know, it's not perfect. And I think that's part of why I like it so much, because, you know, this is not a glamorized version of anything. This is not a vanity project. This is just real fucking life. And I'm proud of that. And I think you can feel it. And there's just something really visceral about this film
it's gimmick free.
Yeah.
You know, there's no gimmicks to this movie. It's about heart and soul, broken people struggling to survive, and learning to love each other through all costs. And that's what I love about it. When I watched it, first of all, I think it's shot superbly. I think our cinematographer did a wonderful job. It's written well, and the performances are all great, and the music in the movie is really good. And it's rare that you get all those aspects to a film. If one of those aspects is weak, and we're only as strong as our weakest link, mind you, but if one of those aspects is off, then, you know, you don't feel like we feel it. I'm really proud of all the effort that went into this picture. And it was also divinely guided to some degree. I really believe that. And you know, there's no accidents. This movie took 8 years to make, and there was a reason for that. And we shot it in 18 days. And I couldn't be more proud of everybody who came together. And movies like this attract the people that want to be there. And if you want to be there, then usually you're putting your 110% into the film. And you don't see that a lot on every set.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's our time. Ride comes to theaters in limited release and on VOD June 14th. It's been a great pleasure catching up with you, Tommy. Annabeth, great meeting you. Hopefully, I'll see everybody face to face again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.